Disneyland is your land.
Come seek an adventure at the old pirates, eh?
Make the jump to light speed.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Welcome to the Disneyland Beat, where our toes tap to a Disneyland drum.
And we always whistle while we work.
Hi, I'm Amy.
And I'm TC. We are about to do a lightning-fast breakdown of Disneyland Resort's rides, attractions, and more, giving you a good idea of what the park has to offer.
Let's start out with the spinners. Disney keeps these types of rides to a minimum, and they are much more heavily themed than you find at local amusement parks, but still, there are quite a few. These flat rides spin you around in lateral circles, some fast, some slow, some high, some low. Most have no height requirement, offering small thrills and incredible views.
Dumbo the Flying Elephant is the most popular, but there's also the King Arthur Carousel, where every horse goes up and down, Astro Orbiters in Tomorrowland, as well as the Mad Tea Party, where you enter spinning teacups, all found at Disneyland.
At Disney California Adventure, often called DCA for short, we have the Inside Out Emotional Whirlwind, the Fabulous Golden Zephyr, where you fly fabulous zeppelins, Jesse's Critter Carousel, a Toy Story-themed merry-go-round, and I'm going to include Mater's Junkyard Jamboree, which adds a whip feature to the spinning action of Tow Mater.
And the Silly Symphony swings are a typical swing ride, but it's fun for the family because it has tandem swings that can accommodate heights of 40 inches tall and up.
The park has lots of transportation rides too, ones where you can get on at one place and get off at another. The Disneyland Railroad used to be the outer border of the park, though some of it now spills beyond it. You can get on and off the railroad at 4 different stations around Disneyland.
The Disneyland monorail connects Tomorrowland inside the park with the downtown Disney district and park hotels with stops at both places. You can enjoy it as an internal park ride or use it as transportation.
The raft to Pirate's Lair on Tom Sawyer's Island takes you from the harbor to the shore of a small island and back again.
And the Main Street USA vehicles will take you from the entrance of the park to Sleeping Beauty's castle and back again.
There are 4 Main Street vehicles: the double-decker omnibus, the jitney, basically an early charming car, the famous fire truck, and the horse-drawn carriage, all of which add practical elegance to this period land.
The red car trolley stops at 3 places around Buena Vista Street and Hollywoodland at DCA.
The Rivers of America boasts 3 different river vessels. They all depart and return to the same spot, so it's a little bit different than our previous category. 2 of them are historic recreations. The Mark Twain is a triple-decked stern-wheeled paddle boat, and the sailing ship Columbia is a Constitution Class 3 masted sailing ship. Both are gorgeous, historic to America and Walt Disney, and offer a tranquil experience riding around the Rivers of America, which is actually a little looped lake, but don't tell.
The 3rd river vessel is the mighty Davy Crockett Wilderness Explorer Canoe. This attraction has been open more often than not recently, though it used to only operate on weekends. It is a canoe ride, but you don't just ride, you paddle, or you suffer the wrath of the cast members. Seriously though, it really is a lot of fun because of how great the cast members are. DCA doesn't have any kind of rides like these. It's pure Disneyland.
Jungle Cruise is a wonderful ride in Adventureland that opened with the park in 1955. You board river skiffs in groups and are taken around the rivers by a jungle skipper who hosts the tour, telling jokes along the way. And Disney California Adventure has its own major water ride too. The iconic Grizzly Peak looks down on the Whitewater River raft ride Grizzly River Run, the tallest and longest raft ride in America. And it has a major drop.
The ride format that really set Disney apart from its competitors from its opening of Disneyland in 1955 is the themed dark ride. I would also argue it is the format that has evolved the most over the years, but Disneyland still has several original attractions. It is a ride format with little or no height requirement that the family can enjoy together, and that's really the most important thing.
Most of the early dark rides were based on Walt Disney animation. Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, Snow White's Enchanted Wish, Pinocchio's Daring Journey, and Peter Pan's Flight are all clustered in the Fantasyland courtyard at Disneyland. Each takes a vehicle with an electric motor around the various scenes of the ride, and each has a unique flair. Mr. Toad is presented in a classic paint and door style, while Peter Pan has flying galleons that are suspended above the scenery. Snow White's ride has been recently updated with new projections technology.
Around the corner, Alice in Wonderland is found, another updated early Disneyland ride. And like Mr. Toad and Pinocchio, you can't find an equivalent version at Walt Disney World.
The cute Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh is found across the park in Critter Country, and in Mickey's Toontown there is Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin, which adds a spinnable car.
Across the Esplanade at Disney California Adventure, you can ride The Little Mermaid, Ariel's Undersea Adventure, and Monsters, Inc. Mike and Sully to the Rescue. Both cute and fun.
And many dark rides in the park have original stories and ideas. It's a Small World combines a slow-moving boat ride with a dark ride that's full of hundreds of happy, cute dolls. And then you can step up the thrill of that format with the famous Pirates of the Caribbean. Though many other versions of this ride followed, none have surpassed the Disneyland original. Be wary though, these rides are starting to get a little scary.
The Haunted Mansion uses an Omnimover vehicle to take you through a haunted house and graveyard, showing off lots of Imagineering special effects on the way. It's worth noting that this ride is closed for extensive refurbishment right now.
Dark rides are often combined with water rides as well. Disneyland's Finding Nemo submarine voyage has you board yellow submarines that cruise around a lagoon before entering caves for an underwater dark ride experience like no other. This refurbished ride opened in 1959 as the classic Submarine Voyage.
And we can't forget Splash Mountain, which combined a log flume ride with a dark ride showing lots of fun scenes between the drops and splashes. It is currently closed though and being transformed into a ride based on The Princess and the Frog called Tiana's Bayou Adventure. When it does open, note that it has a big, huge drop, but you won't miss that.
Dark rides have become headlining technological marvels. The most recent dark ride to open at Disneyland is Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, a near clone of the version found in Orlando, but it fits well into Mickey's Toontown and has a neat, unique queue.
Dark rides can have some serious thrills, too. At Disneyland, Star Wars Rise of the Resistance is a very grand and impressive three-stage experience. Stage 1, you board a shuttle into space. Stage 2, that shuttle is captured and you're placed in a cell and interrogated. And Stage 3, you break out and ride a trackless vehicle around a star cruiser before jetting back in an escape pod.
With thrill aspects included, height requirements get added. You have to be 40 inches tall to ride Rise of the Resistance and 46 inches tall to ride our next attraction, Indiana Jones Adventure Temple of the Forbidden Eye. This dark ride uses smart vehicles that can really whip you around. Nonetheless, this is one of the most impressive attractions at the park.
At DCA, Radiator Springs Racers combines a slot car race ride with an immersive dark ride experience. Most of the ride takes place inside a show building, playing scenes from the first Cars movie. You ride in actual cars, so the scale of the animatronic talking cars feel huge. And then it ends with a thrilling race around the desert.
Disney also has several interactive gaming attractions, 2 in each park. Most of these are screen-based, but Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters in Tomorrowland is not. It's more like an old shooting gallery style with little sensors that you have to shoot to get a kinetic reaction and score points. This one is a favorite of ours.
Disneyland also has Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, where you work as a 6-person team to control the cockpit of the fastest hunk of junk in the galaxy. 2 people get to be pilots, 2 gunners, and 2 engineers. This ride makes a motion simulator ride interactive.
Over at DCA, the classic Toy Story Midway Mania pairs guests up to play a series of 3D Midway games hosted by the characters of Toy Story. It's all screens, but it's also competitive and exciting.
The latest addition to this list is Web Slingers: A Spider-Man Adventure. Like Midway Mania, you're taken around a bunch of 3D screens, but this ride is different. Your team of 4 only need to move their arms and hands to sling virtual webs. No controllers required. It's a lot of fun.
Though, of course, in true Disney style, there are controller add-ons you can buy.
Though Walt Disney was very apprehensive about adding a thrill ride like a roller coaster to his park, he eventually did so, and in groundbreaking style both in format and in theming, with the opening of the Matterhorn bobsleds in 1959. You can still ride the first tubular steel track coaster at Disneyland today.
It's jerky, and you pass by a very upset, abominable snowman named Harold multiple times. You have to be 42 inches tall to ride, and the seating is single file.
If it's your first roller coaster ever, you should head to Mickey's Toontown to ride Chip 'n Dale's Gadget Coaster. You only need to be 35 inches tall, it's really well themed, and a ton of fun for everybody, even if it is the shortest ride in the park.
Over at DCA, there's an off-the-shelf Wild Mouse roller coaster lightly themed and called Goofy's Sky School. Though the experience is more on par with a local fair, it's still a fun ride.
Once you're 40 inches or tall, head to Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. This is one of Disneyland's best rides, and it set a standard for its future coasters. Impeccable theming. This runaway mine train dips and dives around the canyons, passing fun animatronics and show scenes the whole time.
And of course, Space Mountain puts you on an indoor roller coaster flying around outer space. The lift hills on this ride are intense and really build up your anticipation. The coaster really isn't that fast, but in the dark, it sure feels like it.
In fact, the only roller coaster that would sate a real thrill rider's appetite at Disneyland is Pixar Pier's Incredicoaster. It has launches, high speed, great height, and inversion, all while including some great show scenes as well. It also has the tallest height requirement in the park at 48 inches. After this, you should head to Knott's or Six Flags and you're ready for anything. Disneyland and DCA have a few walkthrough attractions you just might want to visit after hitting all those coasters. Sleeping Beauty's castle has beautiful animated dioramas that tell the story of Aurora, Eric, and Maleficent. Pirate's Lair on Tom Sawyer's Island has room to run, rocks to climb, bridges to cross, and tunnels to explore. The actual Pirate's Lair tunnel has many Pirates of the Caribbean themed show scenes, some of them interactive.
And the Adventureland Treehouse just reopened. It's a walk-through treehouse inspired by Swiss Family Robinson, but with a unique story all its own. Though it's brand new, it feels classic and there's lots to explore.
And Mickey's Toontown has been recently refurbished, opening with several playground and interactive elements for youngsters, a classic Fleischmann animation interactive building alley for everybody, and Mickey and Minnie's house, which though they are meet and greets, they also have walkthrough elements featuring the homes of the characters and lots of classic Disney memorabilia.
And DCA has the Redwood Creek Challenge Trail. This nature-themed escape is a must-visit as it combines play and climbing areas with nature and the history of our national parks. Also, be sure to visit Kenai's Cave, where you can discover what your spirit animal is.
DCA also has the animation building, which is pretty cool to see in its own right, but it also has one last remaining walkthrough experience, the Sorcerer's Workshop, which explores animation in a magical way. And of course, let's not forget the bakery tour at San Francisco Square, where you can see how bread is made.
Disneyland does not have many pure motion simulator attractions, though it is often included as an element. The classic motion simulator ride at the parks is Star Tours that dates all the way back to 1987, but refreshed storylines and a randomized sequence have kept it popular with guests.
At DCA, we have Soarin' Around the World. Technically, this is called a flying theater attraction, but we won't split hairs. We love this hang gliding simulation ride that lifts you up in the air with your feet dangling below. And that leads us to a list of fairly unique to the park rides.
In Disneyland, there is the Storybook Canal Boats and Casey Jr. Circus Train, separate family rides that circle the same collection of Disney-themed miniatures. The attention to detail here is unsurpassed, and you can see the oldest tree in Disneyland, a dwarf mungo pine. They say pixie dust keeps everything small.
Autopia has been with Disneyland since the beginning. Kids of all ages use gas-guzzling vehicles to drive around one of the best tracks of its kind. Over in Cars Land, Luigi's Rollicking Roadsters is a ride that defies categorization. You board many trackless vehicles in a large walled area, and then the cars proceed to dance to music with a little spinning to give a thrill at the end.
This ride was one of the first to use trackless vehicles and was important to their development at Disney.
DCA has 2 drop towers. The headliner is an e-ticket attraction, Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. Like the Incredicoaster, this is the real thrill deal. A really tall and fast drop tower where you go up as quickly as you fall down.
It offers randomized sequences with impressive theming, and despite the thrill level, you only have to be 40 inches tall to ride.
Its baby sister is the Jumping Jellyfish, a much friendlier and quite beautiful drop tower attraction, but it still has a 40-inch height requirement. And of course, we can't forget the Pixar Pal-Around, a giant Ferris wheel based on the Coney Island Giant Wheel. You can ride static or swinging gondolas, and the swinging ones are definitely thrilling.
That's it for rides, but there are still several shows that ride the line between a traditional theater show and a Disney attraction. Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln features the first human audio animatronic used by Disney.
Walt Disney's Enchanted Tiki Room opened in 1963, and the show still goes on, performed by dozens of animatronic birds, plants, and tiki statues. It's classic Disneyland, and you can bring in your Dole Whip. If you need a quiet moment, have a seat at the Main Street Cinema, which is always showing early Disney cartoons.
Disney California Adventure offers several of these types of attractions. You can take in a viewing of PhilharMagic, a 3D film with extra lighting, wind, and a few special surprises added in.
You can learn how to draw a character at the Animation Academy.
And Turtle Talk with Crush is always a great deal of fun in the animation building. It's a show, but it feels like a presentation as you get to interact with Crush, asking him questions and getting interesting and often hilarious responses.
Well, that's it for now. There is just so much to do at Disneyland.
And that doesn't doesn't even include things like fireworks, the Water Show World of Color at DCA, or Fantasmic at Disneyland, which will reopen this coming April, or parades, which will be running in both parks this summer.
Or the theater-style shows found in Avengers Campus, playing at the Royal Theater and Disneyland, Fantasyland Theater, or the dining and shopping, or the millions of little details to enjoy.
Or the many permanent meet and greets like Fantasy Fair, Pixie Hollow, Mickey and Minnie's House, and the dozens of wandering characters.
But that's Disneyland.
Thanks for joining us. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to the Disneyland Beat.
May the light in the firehouse window always shine brightly.
And may your dreams always come true. See you in the parks.
Like, subscribe, and stick around.